Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am here. Jared is here, and would look at that son of a bitch. Some things never disappoint. Eases the theme
Right.
dressing.
Had
Something was
to.
off in the room. That's all it was.
What?
Something was off in the room. It just felt a little dumber,
Oh yeah. Don't you
No, I
start
had
with
to.
me.
I had to
Yeah.
wear a lion stuff, man. I mean, it's just you have to. I'm
Yeah.
so in, obviously.
I know, dude. It's so funny because all I can think about is those years where you were like, "I'm done. I'm done with
I
this
know.
fucking team." Yeah,
And I was done. There's no and not to rehash an old, bit as far as the reasoning, but referencing from Jay back in the day, it was right. You would not just keep going to say, a restaurant that literally you got food poisoning 4 times in a row. You're like, well, I'm loyal. I'm going.
Yeah, but one makes you physically sick, and it would make sense to avoid.
I would argue that the Lions did make me physically sick.
Yeah, hey, you wouldn't be the first and only. You know my stance on hand, mouth, butt, vagine, and
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
And so when I have that stance, it's like I mean family, whatever at the top, obviously. Care about them the most, sure. But hand, mouth, butt, vagine, and football. And so when that's the list of anything that's ever currently or ever been important to you, you can't throw one of them out because if I got a bad vagine or mouth or hand, it's like I don't write them off. It's like, well, we'll do better next year. We'll do better next time.
But
so it kind of football is along the lines there, obviously after family and all that
yeah. No, I get that. And the thing was, I always said though, it's not like I was a person who just, now I like the Denver Broncos or now I like whoever's winning that year.
Yeah, those people piss me off.
Right. I never have cheered for other teams. I mean, I guess I kind of like the Patriots with Tom Brady, but not the same. Not like I'm watching every game or I started buying Patriots merchandise or
totally
something.
get it, dude. Totally get it.
It's
I think there were a lot of it was like, all the people. I didn't judge the people that turned into Rams fans for a year when Stafford went there. It was like, if you put it in context of the history of it all and you go, Matt Stafford did a lot of good things with the Lions, whether we all have bitches about, certain aspects, but Stafford by and large was a very good quarterback on a very bad franchise. And so I understood why a lot of people were wearing Detroit Rams shirts and like, hey, one of ours is doing that. Same thing with the Patriots and Tom Brady. It was like you rooted for him at Michigan, and then he is.
Never, like I said, it never felt like when they won, I was like, oh, I won the Super Bowl. I was just kind of like, oh, cool.
Yeah, all things being equal, if it comes down to the Jets or the Patriots, it's like, I'll pull for Tom Brady.
Yeah, that was it.
And I think we do that with a lot of things. Like, both my teams are out and the Dolphins are doing well. I know my buddy Tim is a big fan. Like, all right, I'll pull for them. John Hine, listener of the show, supporter forever. He's a big Bills fan. It's like, my teams are out. The Niners are out, Lions are out, and all things being equal, it's the Cowboys and the Bills. Like, I'll pull for the Bills. Like that makes sense to me. But it's not like you won. Like you take ownership with it.
No. And the other thing I know we're kind of rehashing some of this, but the other thing I used to always say is like, I told people I stopped watching because I cared too much. It ruined my day to sit there and watch those games. And when I didn't, I just kind of did my life and I would check the score, or laugh back way back.
All over myself. Sorry.
Laugh way back in the day. For example, I remember, man, I was camping with my parents at like or something, but it was like a KOA that had like a TV in the thing, and they're watching the Lions versus Minnesota, I think it was that year, that they lost in like a 60-yard field goal or something. You know what I mean? So, and I would just laugh. I would just be like,
you're talking about the Ravens and Justin
that
Tucker,
could have been it.
63, 64 yarder, set a new record. The amount of heartbreak that goes into those where it's like, there's no way this is how we're going to lose this game. And as Lions fans, you know what that feels like. They're like, holy shit, I've been watching this sport, this league my entire life. There's no fucking way the Lions are going to lose in this manner. And sure as shit, they would. And it is taxing. It's taxing on you.
You know what though, Mike? You know what though, Michael? It is taxing. It is not taxing, but it is, as I'm finding it very hard to handle a winning team in the sense that they win. And I'm like, awesome, good. And then it's just like, get to next week. And they're like, can I really go through 7 more weeks like this? Can I really gear up every week, and it's the
awesome,
most
isn't
important.
it? It's awesome.
And watching other games, god damn, Minnesota can't lose to Arizona 2 weeks ago, for example. Where they and
dude, what you find is when your team is really good, you're doing stuff Lions fans that are just diehard Lions. They've never known a winner unless you're fucking 80 years old. You've never known that kind of
really
thing.
Count.
So I've been through this because as a childhood Niners fan, families from there, season ticket holders, it was just kind of beat into me as a child. You either support the 49ers or my brother wanted to be a Cowboys fan when he was really little. He's like 3 or 4. And my dad was like, no, you can go in the other room and watch a little handheld TV if you want to be one of those fucking assholes in this household. So it was just kind of beat into you, but they had a lot of success. What you find yourself doing is really paying attention around your conference to see oh God, is there a chance Minnesota's going to lose, or Green Bay? Can Green Bay fuck off this week? Please give us a little room here, a little breathing room. The Eagles are a problem. What are the Eagles doing? You've never paid attention to that shit before.
I've never watched more football in my life than this year.
Yeah,
never.
It didn't matter. So it takes on a whole new level. And what you find when you do that is you realize, bad teams lose in pathetic ways all the time.
Yes.
You just know, I've seen this movie played out. There's no fucking way in a 13-13 game with 30 seconds left, this subpar team isn't going to find a way to fuck this up. You just know it. It's
crazy.
Oh, wow, they came back. They tied the game. Yeah, we've seen this fucking movie. This superior team is going to find a way to win. And
by the way, sorry.
No,
I know this is mostly an audio podcast. I need to stream to do it, but so not everyone will see this. But for one, it's hilarious that my niece, although she doesn't know what's going on, now only knows a winning Lions team. All 3 years of her being on this planet, she has her first golf jersey. By the way,
look at that, Erupts.
In the freaking cult. But it's like we gave her that jersey and we were all watching a game together.
How old is she now? Is she like 3?
Two.
She is 2. Okay. Yeah, dude, I have pictures of Madison when Madison's 3 years old, and it gets very divided because they live in the Bay Area, and my sister's a big Lions fan. She pulls for the 49ers and all that, but she's at her soul, she's more of a Lions fan. And Jin's a big, he's more from New Orleans, but he's kind of fair weather, so he doesn't really count. But in the household, it's Bay Area teams. They're always on the TV, whether it's the A's or the Giants. It's just like anything else. And so, seeing little Mad Dog with her first Stafford jersey when she's 3, and it's she's got an official Stafford jersey, and she's. They're at that age, they're rooting for colors and, prettier logos.
She's not even rooting for that. She doesn't even fucking know yet.
Yeah,
but
they're literally retarded human beings. They don't know shit.
Yeah, we put her in a jersey, but
exactly.
But it is funny to see. And in her very short lifetime, the Lions have had nothing but winning seasons, which is crazy.
So she gets to see you guys all cheering and excited.
Yes, all she sees is us being happy. She said, "Go Lions" for the first time the other day. She actually randomly just "Go Lions." I'm like,
yeah. Dude, I'll tell you this though. Having a good team and a lot of wins in a season, a couple playoff wins, maybe a championship appearance means fuck all if you don't close the deal.
I know.
It just does. In the end, you become Colin Kaepernick, who led the Niners to a championship game 2 years in a row and then the Super Bowl and lost. And you will go down you're not the teams that are invited 30 years later, always welcome at the stadium, always part of festivities, celebrations of, hey, remember that 91 squad? No, you don't honor, you need to close the deal, and you don't want to be the Bengals. You don't want to get there, come up just short, and it's wait till next year. No, next year, Dan Campbell said it perfectly after the championship loss. We may never get back here again. That's just the reality of this league. And
Dan Marino.
Dan Marino, year 2. Oh my God, this guy's going to own the league. He's going to, and it's got his ass kicked in the Super Bowl 19, never sniffed it again. And it's
crazy.
When you have the team, when it's why these injuries are devastating. It's all there, dude. You have to get there and finish it. Otherwise, it's all for naught.
And it is a losing atmosphere or attitude. But I will say, though, I can't control if they win or not. That's the only thing. I can't control it. What I can say is all my life of the Lions organization, all the old talking points of SOL and stuff. What I can say though is I finally have an organization that I don't think it's a fluke. You have a general manager, a coach,
no doubt.
and an owner even that are all on the same page. And the injuries and if it doesn't happen this year, I really think it might, but if it doesn't, and it's what it is. At least we finally have an organization that's competent, and there's a reason. You can say, hey, we had 4, Agent Hutchinson and Anzalone aren't able to play, let's say, in the playoffs. You're able to go like, okay, that's a reason. That's not the coach taking the wind. That's not the, whatever bullshit. So
I agree with you.
Because I can't control it. I hope they win.
It's the perfect storm to pull it off and win it. You need some luck. You need some bounces. You need health is the big thing. I've said it for 2 straight years. Every time I talk about the Lions, well, barring injuries, and really when Hutch went down, I went, it's not as catastrophic as you all think. It's not. Yeah. This is an offensive league. It's an offensive driven league. Yes, Hutch is obviously an all-pro. He's probably one day going to be a Hall of Famer. No doubt. You want that guy on your defensive end. He's disruptive. But you lose Goff, it's over. It's over. No, he goes out with a knee. You're done. It's over. Right. There is no competing in this league without that. So, Anzalone will come back. He'll be fine. Not knees and all that shit. He's got a broken arm. Hutch, if he comes back for a Super Bowl, what a bonus. But
now they're saying maybe the NFC Championship game.
What? Is that what they're saying?
NFC Championship game, yeah.
Yeah. But there's something about that people these are not normal human beings. They're just not. They're bigger than you. They're faster than you. They're more athletic than you. They can do shit. Even the big fat ones that you think like, oh, that guy's slow. No, that guy's fast as shit. And
luckily they're young. He can,
guys. And that guy can step flat-footed on the ground and leap 4 feet in the air. Like they're not human. So and they're in their early 20s. Most of them, Hutch, Anzalone's in his 20s. Like these guys are going to recover fast and get back to it. But it's exciting. I'm thinking about because I'm going to San Francisco for Christmas.
I was going to say you should go to that game.
I think I might, dude.
You should be part of a blue takeover.
And I was like, oh God, going into that stadium. I've been to that stadium a handful of times already. I've seen the Cardinals play there against the Niners a couple times. Been to a few games. Do I wear Niners gear or Lions gear?
There's only one answer here, Michael.
I know there's one answer for you, but you got to put it in the full context of my entire life.
I know.
And I've come down on the side of, no, fuck that. I'd wear Lions gear.
Well, plus it's
dude, my dad might disown me for saying that.
Yeah.
But I think I would go into hostile territory, and being a lifelong Niners fan too, go in there wearing a Lions sweatshirt.
I don't know that it'll be that hostile that day. It's just where the Niners are and how the Lions have been.
Yeah. Totally.
I don't know how many Lions. No, the only interesting thing when that game will be is how many Lions fans are going to travel at that point, only because it's a much further trip close to the holidays. And at that point, the playoffs are there. Man, I hate to say it, save your money and go to a playoff game, maybe the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I tell a story real quick about from when I went to Indy?
Oh yeah, you just went and saw the Colts Lions game.
Yeah, I saw the Indy Colts game, and I was there with my dad, and it was me. So in the row, it goes me on the aisle, my dad next to me, and then next to us, a Lions fan and 4 Colts fans. But he was with the Colts fans because he was married to one of the Colts fans. So throughout the game, we're talking. Me and my dad are high-fiving. Me and this guy next to us are high-fiving, yada, yada. And I am trying to be respectful. I understand I'm at a away game, but you're good. I'm standing up and whatnot. Fourth quarter, dude, like 9 minutes to go. So we're not talking first quarter, halftime. I get it. 9 minutes to go. I kind of stand up. I'm cheering a little bit. And the guy in front of me finally goes to me, goes, dude, you've ruined the game for me. You've been in my head the entire game, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry.
What were you doing?
Dude, I understand. I've had this conversation with other people, Mike. I just thought you might appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know I have a loud voice. I understand that.
You do.
But my dad is usually pretty conscious of it. Like my dad has told me before in a place, hey, dude, I'm right here. Yeah. So he didn't say anything to me necessarily. He didn't seem to think anything of it. And I'm not even saying this guy's wrong because I know I have a loud voice. But he waits till 9 minutes to go in the fourth And I said
Before
it instantly,
saying
like, oh my
something?
God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. He's like, he keeps yelling at me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I wish you had said something sooner. He goes, get out of my fucking face. I'm just ruining my game. I'm a season ticket holder, blah, blah, blah. And my thing is I don't even disagree with him, but the dude had to say something earlier. If you're a man.
Okay, so what I'm gathering is you're the black woman in a movie theater. Is what it sounds like. And you're unaware of it. And people sit there, they bite their tongue, they try to be polite for as long as they can. And he finally gave up on that with 9 minutes to go and went, this fucking guy.
And his team was getting their ass kicked, but whatever.
Well, yeah. Well, I will say this, Isis, in his defense, because I'm, you know me, I'm on Team Isis all the time.
Of course.
Yeah. But in his defense, I did go to the very first Michigan night game ever.
I know.
Notre Dame. Turned out to be maybe the greatest game in the history of college football. The comeback that Michigan had. I left that game at halftime because I could not sit next to Isis.
I would like to wonder, would you have stayed really, though? Would you have really stayed? They were getting their butts kicked in that game.
Yeah,
it wasn't a good game at halftime. I don't know that you would have stayed anyway.
Well, I maybe would have stayed through the third just to see, but it was like, you know what, with that on the field and with this clown next to me, this is undoable. I'm out of here.
I get it.
So, in his defense,
drunk then and younger. I wasn't drunk this time.
I don't think you were drunk. Were you? Were you a little drunk?
Yeah.
Okay. Greatest story is when Biggie dropped his Lions season tickets and they wrote him back saying he was not the kind of fan they wanted.
Well, that's not exactly what happened there. What happened was they raised the prices for like every year I've had them. Yeah. And I wrote an email saying, dude, this team's won 4 fucking, littered with profanities.
Yeah.
And they threatened to take my tickets away.
Yeah.
And they did say, we're not sure if we would really care for fans like you anyway.
Yeah. Wow. I imagine it was littered with misspelled words.
That's
and
true too.
A lot of harsh language. Not welcome in a professional setting. But
I don't know. Anyway,
fans get very into it, man. They really do. And
what was also interesting about that Indy game was once it got down to about 3 minutes to go, I wanted to go down and do what has kind of now become this traditional takeover thing where all the Lions fans on the away games go down to the 100 level, kind of get by the bench or the whatnot. And dude, I don't know if Indy does this for every game, but it certainly seems like this. I've never seen this at a sporting event where they were not allowing people that were not already down in the 100s to walk down there. And they had security guy or ushers and police at the freaking lines.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you're not going down. You don't have tickets. I've never seen that before when the stadium's empty at this point. People are just like, I think they didn't want to see all those Lions fans down there.
Well, Lions fans are different, no doubt. The Philly fans are different. Lions fans are. And what I mean by that is when I was a little kid, okay, I would go to the Pontiac Silverdome when the Niners would come to town. Now, the Niners were historically a great franchise. I was a little kid. I'm 7, 8 years old, and I've got my little 49ers sweatshirt on, and my dad's a big Niners fan, obviously, and so he'd be with his kids and his wife.
Oh boy, here we go.
And dude, the amount of people that would be like, "Fuck you" to a little kid, wearing opposing, like I wouldn't be worried about that now at my age, but Lions fans are next level when it comes to their abuse for opposing fans. Sometimes maybe they've matured and 40 years later it's different, but
maybe,
there were a lot of brawls in the Silverdome. I'm not worried about going into Niner country wearing Lions gear. I'd probably get a lot of tips of the wine glass going, oh, good luck to your team this year.
Tips of the wine glass.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's probably what you'd be met with. But coming into Ford Field right now wearing Packers shit is sort of dangerous, man.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah. So
anyway, it was fun. I'm glad they've won.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Dude, it was wild. Like it was just crazy. We went downtown on Saturday night. Literally every bar we went in. Now, granted, Indiana fans aren't necessarily, we don't, go down to their own bars on a Saturday night wearing their jersey, but we walked into 3 bars where we couldn't even get seats. It was just shoulder to shoulder Lions fans. It was crazy. Yeah,
they travel exceptionally well. Shouldn't surprise people. Michigan travels really well. Like, there's a reason they want if they're staring down the barrel of 2 6-6 teams or 2 teams, it's like, oh, do we want West Virginia or do we want Michigan? It's like, no, if we can get Michigan there, they know how well the fan base travels. So it doesn't really surprise me, but dude, it's almost NFL takeover level. Like having this, the way it goes where for the first time in the franchise since the 50s, you're seeing this level of success and competency. Like having an incompetent franchise for our whole lives has just made it so brutal. Like, and knowing that they were selling out that stadium with a 1 in 15 franchise, like tells you everything. You know, it wasn't like, oh yeah, there's you had guys with bags over their heads, but they were still there, you know? And so it's so cool to see. I'm going to try to go, I think, to that Niners-Lions game.
For sure.
You know,
Could be a big one.
It could be, you know, it could be. Like you said, it won't matter to the Niners. They suck. Those fans, it should be easier to get tickets, cheaper.
Yeah.
And it'd be cool because I know Paul will be there. You know, the guy that wears the hat. He's got the stripe on his eye.
Nice.
That's at every away game, home game.
Right.
I'm sure you people in Detroit will know him. He's got the sparkly, I don't know what stylish hat, and then he's got the Hutchinson eye paint. He's got the dog with him and the hot chick.
Yeah.
Most people don't know, but without that guy, none of you would know who Jim Bentley is.
Really?
None of you. Yeah.
That's crazy.
You wouldn't know Jim Bentley's name. And I'll tell you why. Because his name is Paul, and P-A-W-A-L, Pavel, I think, but he always went by Paul.
Yeah.
He worked at Palazzolo in Royal Oak. And when I lived in Royal Oak, he was my male hair stylist.
Gotcha.
So I would go to Palazzolo. It's loaded with hot chicks, and then this dude.
Yeah.
And he's really fucking good at his job. He owns a salon now in Philadelphia. He's no bullshit. So he could afford to travel to all these stadiums. Like,
yeah.
But I would go in there, and it was like, I walked in there blind one day and went, I need a haircut. And it just was local. And they're like, go see Paul. He's the shit. And I was like, a dude, really? And they're like, yeah. Well, I start talking to him. He's all football all the time. And he knows his shit. X's and O's, staffing decisions, who's on the practice squad. The guy fucking knows his shit. He doesn't know who I am. I don't know who he is, but it's the greatest hour of haircut I've ever gotten. I went to him for years, and he was like, hey, there's this guy I went to high school with. He really kind of wants to get into radio. He doesn't know how. Is there any way you'd talk to him about an internship? And I was like, yeah. And unfortunately, I said, yeah, sure. Send me his name and number. And the asshole that he introduced me to was one James Bentley.
That's crazy.
And so
I never knew that.
Small world.
So I never knew that.
Yeah. So if you see that guy in the stands, you can thank him for knowing Jim Bentley's name. And I love Jimmy, so I'm just playing.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I know he'll be there, and I haven't seen Paul in a while. I text with him every once in a while still, but he's got
That's
Milo,
crazy.
his emotional support dog that goes with him everywhere.
Right. No, I've seen him for sure.
Yeah. So you have an in with him too, dude, because you have Jim Bentley as the go-between. So if you see him at the game or something, you guys feel free to mention.
Out of my price range, these Lions games are now, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the way it gets. Well, Isis, I'm glad you're here today. I did want to get through some news and stuff. It's been a minute, and I mentioned you and I have texted and stuff, and a lot of people have hit me up like, why don't you have Isis on? And I really. You know, Isis is a good guy, but Isis doesn't like really diving into the political stuff, and which is fine. I totally understand that. I did feel, and maybe it's just my
election
ego.
Would have been tough. The election would have been tough.
Yeah, I felt like I had some sort of a duty, in a way, and maybe that's just an out of control ego. But I felt like things were going so poorly that I couldn't not talk about that and just be like, yeah, let's talk this or that. Like, it just felt so disingenuous. But at the same time, I knew that's not where you wanted to get involved. And I totally understood that too. And so I had texted with you plenty of times. And I was like, you know what, dude, I definitely want to have you on. And I'm not avoiding you. I think it'd be better if we wait till after this, whatever happens. Either way is fine. Once we get past the election, I think it'd be better then. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to bring up political shit with you here. But it just has a different, the way I kind of look at it is so much of this stuff has turned political that never was.
Right.
And it kind of sucks because it was like, hey, we kind of had this lane to make fun of goofy, dipshitty people forever.
Yeah.
And now it's somehow political in nature, like it just sucks. You know,
I would say, Mike, you could argue, by the way, that it's my white privilege that allows me to not even care about the election. I fucking hated it. And there are people, because if you remember when I voted a few years ago for a third party, I was then told that by voting third party, I'm actually showing even more privilege.
You can't win, dude.
I don't care whether they win or lose. I can afford Trump to win because I'm white. So, dude, even though, like, if you hear somebody saying, dude, I'm telling you, I don't like either of these choices. I think this is bullshit. Can we fucking do something different? Nope, that's privilege. You got to vote Biden or else. It's like, okay.
No, the takeaway is there is no right answer unless it's the answer I want.
Exactly.
And,
for sure.
You know, that sucks to be in that spot because people have a way of twisting anything into fit their thing. And we're all guilty of it on some level. But it was like I knew I would make conscious decisions like today I'm going to try to do some of the stuff and I'd find myself burying the stories and not get to them that were more fun in nature. And it was just like, no, it is what it is, man. I felt like it was, you know, and I'm glad I've had multiple people reach out to me going, you know what, when I got in the booth, I ended up voting this way because I'd heard you talk so much about it. And so it did matter in such a small way. In some way where it was like, you know what, I can't do much, but I can at least tell people what I perceive as honestly going on, and then people can do what they want. I didn't tell anybody who to vote for, but
of course,
you know,
for sure.
I felt like it was really unfair what was going on for people information wise. It sucks. It's not right. It's not right. It's too bad.
I remember thinking, and I really, it's been a few years now where I've just had I just hate it. I hate talking about it because I hate the bullshit. But my point of the story is that, like, I was sitting up this year one time when I'm working on Mackinac Island, and I'm sitting on this porch that we have at the house, and some people are talking, and they're very obvious going towards the left, you know, which I don't actually care about. That's fine. But how they're talking, it's like I came as close as I ever came to stepping in and going, look, I'm not telling you, because the problem is, by the way, with me even doing this, it would quote unquote let them know already who I stood for, which is not true. But I thought about stepping in and going, hey, just FYI, how do you think someone would feel that disagreed with you based on this conversation right now? Like, what if someone was sitting next to you and they disagreed with your thoughts here, how you're talking? Do you think they would feel very comfortable about that? And I didn't. I don't know if I don't know if I wish I would have or not, but my point is, like, that's crazy. It shouldn't be that bad.
You can I know exactly what you mean, and there's been kind of a free pass for a lot of people to say whatever radical fucking thing they want with no worry at all for who they're standing in front of. I've run into that 1,000 times, and I usually just stay quiet and just go, okay. You know, I'm not going to sit here and bullet point, pick them apart on whatever absolutely idiotic thing is coming out of their mouth. But you hope there's some self-reflection from some people and things, you know, you hope for the best, but it is what it is.
I'll say this. I had one person, and I don't want to say who it is just because of whatever, but who listens to my podcast I do with Amy, and she really likes it and stuff. But she was saying to me, I know her in person. This isn't something just like through Messenger, but really likes it. But she's like, oh, I bet I wouldn't get along with Amy too well because, you know, Amy, know how she's pretty open about her politics. And first of all, is like, well, for one, she's like, unless I didn't bring up politics. I'm like, for one, as long as you don't just treat her like a monster, or like a human, you'd be fine. Yeah. But I will say this person definitely is a left-leaning person, and they started talking about it. And for the first time I've ever heard someone that is a very much liberal person started she told me a story about some people that she knew were in her life that she found out were voting for Trump or were in for Trump. And she really did like, I've never heard someone finally say, like, you know, I thought about it. I'm like, I've known these people for so long. I might disagree on this thing, but, like, I know they're not bad people in general. And it's like, I'm like, maybe spread that around. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, at least it was one person, but it was like, it took a lot for her, I think, to finally like say, maybe they're not the devil just because I disagree with them.
No, if you look at Amy wearing a MAGA hat and a red sweatshirt and make an assumption that she obviously is X, Y, and Z, and throw in insult or horrible historical reference here. Like, then you don't know Amy, and you're not interested in knowing Amy.
Right.
Amy's as sweet a person. She's well thought. She thinks things through. She's opinionated, as a lot of us are.
Yeah.
And she's a good, decent person. And that is kind of where it ends for me. Like, when it's like, oh, how can you watch so-and-so? He's a blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, I know that person. And what you're describing isn't there's such a disconnect between people in your life that and what they might say on social media.
Right.
It's the fear of, for me with AI learning, and it's learning like, oh, this is how humans feel about each other. It's like, but I don't run into that when I'm at the grocery store and I accidentally get too close to someone with my cart. They don't call me a Nazi and like that's not how we interact with each other. So this is, we're getting this cover because of social media to have these outrageous, out of context opinions on things. I try to avoid those on social media. I feel way more comfortable doing it here, where it's like, let me give you some context as to why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Let E give you some context as to why he's thinking, or anybody who's here. It's like, go ahead, take 20 minutes, explain yourself on something, and you go, wow, life's a little more nuanced than you would give it, if you're trying to go 160 characters on a X post.
Well, and that, by the way, I don't know if you've discussed any of this, but that's assuming how many people are real. There's really starting to be, I feel like a come to realization moment that are all these people on the internet real? Really?
No.
You know what I mean? You go down these fights on a comment page, and you start to wonder. And there's people out there.
They've done some studies recently that have said, and I can't remember, I wish I had it in front of me, but said that up to 50% of posts you see on Twitter and stuff like that are bullshit. Or bots are meant to
stir the pot.
It's me and my friends.
There's a lot of that, but there's a lot of foreign influence and stuff like that as well. And it's my problem with it all along has been just how unfair it is. Like I have all the confidence in the world that if people know full context of things, to me, context has always mattered. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to be wrong. But what did you mean when you said something? Were you trying to be...
Remember Jonah Hill said it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Words are wrong.
It goes back to that. It goes back to that. I think about that all the time. Like, no, Jonah. I don't know if anyone's ever corrected him, but when you called someone a faggot, like, words don't matter. Context. No, the context matters a lot. In fact, it's the only thing that really matters.
Right? It's so obnoxious. I use that as an example regularly if I tip my toe in this subject, because it's so obnoxious. The statement is so obnoxious.
Well, it's dangerous because it's self-preservation for him in that point. He's got a lot on the line. He's going on the Tonight Show to look like he's so sorry, and oh my gosh, how could I
got to address something. He's with Jimmy Fallon. I got to address something, Jimmy.
If I can work up tears, and the real world people are going, oh, come on, dude, give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
You were being harassed by fucking asshole paparazzi, and you did what a lot of people do when they get fucking very angry, and they throw the wildest things. Fuck you, fatso. You did that, but you used faggot.
I'd love to see the green room after that with him and his publisher, and like, good job, Jonah.
Good job.
That'll do it. That ought to do it.
You hit this point very good. You hit it first. Remember, we decided to go with that bullet point first instead of last. We don't want people to perceive that it wasn't as important. Check. You did that one right. Yeah, it's just it's like, so phony.
That happened. They went after that interview. He went back, and his publisher and his agent were in the green room, and they said, "Okay, good job."
First, it's a publicist, but yes, you're right.
Sorry, what did I say? Publisher.
Yeah.
Okay, he might have had his book publisher there.
His book publisher. But yeah, you're right. No, there was probably a manager there. This was too serious of a moment in history to these people.
Oh yeah, he didn't just fly out there by himself.
Yeah, his manager was there. His publicist was there. His agent was there in the green room having cocktails in $3,000 suits, waiting to see if Jonah hit it out of the park and we can ink this new movie deal. Was it enough to ink the new movie deal and get top dollar for his performance upcoming? It's just gross, but it is what it is. Anyway, I did want to get to some news stories, but I figured with Ease is here, I haven't talked to you in a minute. You were always great with your grievances. I usually agreed with your grievances. I think people love the grievances. I have one of my own today. And the rules are the same. We'll give you 30 seconds to air the grievances. This is the season to air those.
Dang, 30 seconds.
And
okay.
I believe it's 30 seconds. We tried.
Okay.
Remember, we used to do a minute. We can do
maybe it was
45.
too long.
We don't have a
Okay,
clock.
that's fine.
We don't have a clock right now.
I get you. I'll try to
Keep it
keep
short.
as succinct as I can.
So it's either justified, right?
Right.
It's a
Bonafide.
justified bona fide grievance, pussy, or old man.
Yep.
Or old man and pussy, I think.
Or
sometimes.
those very rare, but sometimes people do get stuck with the old man and pussy.
I feel like
Why
I got it
don't,
more
why
than
don't I
most,
go
but-
first? Why don't I go
And-
first and get us started, ease us,
Okay.
and then we'll go with yours.
Okay.
And I'm looking for a fair discussion here about
Obviously.
the grievances. So
right.
mine is the upsell of the upsell of items I did not ask for. And this goes to a lot of us are doing holiday shopping. I'm sure we're going to radiofor1.com and clicking the Amazon link and buying away. But I went on there and I'm getting a sweatshirt here. I'm getting this here. And all of a sudden in my basket going out to checkout, I'm going through, put my address in, this and that.
Oh, yeah.
They've got
Would you
something.
also like to buy this?
Well, there's that, which pisses me off. It's like, no, if I wanted a fucking chair with it, I would have got that before I checked out. No, this one is like, we've just added a $6 gift box. And I was like, and then I have
really?
yes, I have to unclick it.
Oh, shit.
So they're just going to add it to my total. And I was like, you sons of bitches.
That's
so I unclick
crazy.
it. And then they're like, now we're going to do your, where you want this mailed to, or your credit card thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then it goes, okay, now you're on to the next step. Boom. And the fucking thing added it again.
Oh, my God.
And
That's
I
crazy.
unclicked it again.
What website was this? I'm sure curious.
I think it was Shopify.
Okay.
One of those.
Dang.
And so the last, so then I had to go through the last step. I clicked that and they'd added the fucking $5 gift or $6 gift box again.
Crazy.
After I unclicked it twice, they'd added it a third time without the ability to unclick it. And I was like, this is fucking bullshit, man. And so I just let it go. And I've got a $5, $6 gift box for something that I'm not going to use this.
Of course not.
So, it's a seasonal grievance, but it really pissed me off. Like, look, man, I'm spending my hard-earned money with you guys. You don't need to try and rip me off on top of it and hope I don't notice it. Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed like I said, the obvious thing on the bottom. Oh, people that bought this have bought this. And I get that, I guess, but not really. But
I agree with you there, but
God damn it, Mike. Why did
it's bona fide? You can say it.
I wanted to say pussy so bad.
I know, but
pussy so bad.
So
would
if
you
they're
like
charging
you?
If they're charging you, then bona fide. If it's just one of those like, hey, free $5 extra thing.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's just a little thrown in. I'm like, that's
they're charging you.
I paid $6 the last time around for 3 times. They wouldn't let me unclick it, and I couldn't find a way to not get it, and so they just forced it on me.
Yeah, I mean, God damn it.
Yeah,
I guess I gotta say bona fide.
Yeah, thank you. I
actually wanted to say old man. That's my favorite because I really like to.
Yeah, it's
regularly.
A tough one. It hurts.
Say old man.
It hurts.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
No, it's
I would honestly. I think I'm so stubborn that I just wouldn't buy it from that. I would just log out and buy whatever I was going to buy from somewhere else.
I know, and
I think that's what I would have done.
I should have, because I found out after the fact that there's a lot of companies that do this. It was kind of a custom thing.
Yeah,
and so I was like, oh, this is the one that was recommended to me.
I'm stubborn like that. I would really irritate me.
If it was, it was a gift. So I was thinking, you know what? I got to get this done anyways. So fuck it, whatever. I'm not fighting over $5 with these assholes. If it was for me, I like to think I would have had some more, a principled stance and said, all right, you lose all of me then. But I didn't.
I should say, I don't think I have a principled stance. I'm just going to be very stubborn with things like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck you. I'm not.
You don't want to be ripped off.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
No, it's bona fide because it kind of goes with my grievance on the members area show where I got ripped off by a COVID test that was $75 at the at the urgent care. It's that charge that they told me wasn't going to happen. Then here it is. Here's your charge. You have to take it. Now it's on me to go fight that charge. It shouldn't be on me. You brought it on.
Yeah.
I finally got, for whatever it's worth, it's funny, I finally got COVID in July, and I'm almost happy because now I just know it's fucking, I've had it once. I just don't have to. I've got the antibodies.
How bad was it?
I will say it was rough, dude.
I've
it
heard.
was funny. I went out to, Belgium this year for that festival.
Yeah.
Which is funny, by the way. I did text Jay about it just because he would always be like, "Get on your feet, Tomorrowland." So I sent him a text like, "I'm there, Jay. I made it." But
nice.
But I was in Paris and I was just dog shit sick, dude. It lasted about 6 days.
What is with you going to like some dream location and getting dog shit sick?
I know,
Same thing in Hawaii happened.
I did it in Scotland. I didn't
no,
get
dude,
COVID
it
until I was
sucked.
in Scotland.
I'm sure I got it at the festival. Luckily, at least for me in my world,
you got COVID, you think there?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure of it. It had to have been. Luckily, at least in my world, I was good for the festival, which is why I was there. But then like Monday, I started going on this train from Belgium to Paris, and I'm like, kind of feeling crappy. Well, maybe I'm just worn out. I'll just go to bed early. Wake up the next day like, no, dude.
No, I'm sick as shit.
Shit. I was sick.
So
did you
do the responsible thing and self quarantine in your hotel?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't actually know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I had COVID. I just was.
You just couldn't taste or smell anything.
I didn't lose that stuff, but I just felt like I felt bad in a sense when I was on the plane because I'm flying on an 8-hour flight and I'm just feeling like horse shit. But I didn't know until Sunday. I got sick. I started getting sick on Monday, and I was going to go back up to Mackinac. I'm like, dude, this is going on 6 days. Maybe I should just go to the urgent care and just kind of say, hey, should I be worried that I'm not feeling any better in 6 days? And then they tested me and I had COVID, and I was sick for about 2 more days after that. So it lasted about a week. But I was almost happy. I finally was like, okay, finally, I can just say I had it already. Just be over with it.
I bet we've all had it on some level and just we're asymptomatic.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I've done less than anybody. I have all the comorbidities in the world, and I have masked none. I have avoided nothing. I haven't washed up more. And as far as I know, I've never
stopped washing my hands too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I wasn't playing the game. I saw through a lot of their bullshit, and I'm sure it was a nasty flu, and for some people it was really bad, but I wasn't playing along.
I would say my 7 days did suck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting it warranted what we have to go back to COVID, but it did suck. I have, by the way, found myself at times, if I've been a little buzzed, telling people in the bathroom that COVID's over. Didn't you hear we don't have to wash our hands anymore? Like just telling strangers in the bathroom that we shouldn't have to wash our hands. But they love that.
Sure.
Yeah.
My thing is, I always wash my hands on my way into the bathroom because it's like I know where my hands have been, and I don't want to touch myself with that. It's like I don't.
I've heard people say
out of the bathroom.
That if you really think about the reality, is you should wash your hands going into the bathroom and then leave. You're fine. Like because you're touching yourself.
It's like I know where my dick's been. I don't know where I know where my hands have been too. They're a lot dirtier than where my dick's been.
Yeah, not mine, unfortunately, but mine hasn't been any anuses lately. So,
like I said, depending on the night, my hands are usually cleaner.
I would say my hands are. I'm trying to think. Okay, yeah.
Let's get to your grievance.
I will say this will seem like it's a rehashed one that we would have done, but I think there's a different spin on it. And I was buying some tickets for a present, and the tickets were going to be $80. 2 tickets for $80. The fees were going to be $130. So it's going to be $50 in fees. I know we all know this. I get it. It's probably been rehashed. But I said to myself, you know what? $50 fucking dollars. I'm going to drive down to Detroit. Me and my parents went down. We checked out the train station. I haven't seen that since they redid it, yada, yada. But you buy the tickets. I'm there. I'm at the place buying the tickets. And even the $39 tickets are $44. And you don't even get a ticket printed out. They email you a ticket. So why... I don't understand how much service fees have gone up, but if I'm at the venue and you're not printing me a ticket, why is it? What is the service fee for? The service is buying the ticket.
Yes, bona fide.
And I'm there. That's my thing. If I'm at home, you can somewhat argue. I guess there's a computer thing or whatever, but I'm at the box office and you're not even giving me a ticket.
Yeah, I'm trying
to just say the ticket's $45.
Yeah.
Don't say it's 39.
It's also 100% bona fide because I'm now in a generation where I'll never have tickets I can just frame or put somewhere and look at later.
Right. Okay. So here is the So back then you used to get this hard stock.
Yeah.
So this is from Joe Louis Arena, 1987, Aerosmith.
Old man.
Show I went to.
I didn't see how much money. I'm going to guess it was $30. I didn't see.
Tickets were $17.50, and the service charge on top of it,
Is it zero or is there something?
$1.75.
$1.75. Okay.
Okay. $1.75 to see fucking Aerosmith. That was their added fee, $17.50,
Right.
and then $1.75. So the fact that you're paying $6 and you went there, like, and
I didn't get a ticket.
This is actually pretty thick card stock,
right?
That they're printing these machines back in the day. Like, okay, if Belkin's cellar door is charging me $1.75, like whatever the fee is, it's bullshit. Obviously, this is as close to bona fide as you've ever gotten. This is I mean, it's obviously pussy old man, unfortunately, but in that it's pussy old man, it's still bona fide on some level. That it's just it is what it is. It's just a scam. And I'm like you, like, fine, you want to charge $44 and lie to me and say, oh, 50 cents was for the thing. Fine, fine, I'll pay. Then my choice is, do I pay $44 to see this band or event or not? But don't try to tell me. Why not just say the event costs $3 and there's $150 in service charges.
Exactly.
Like, no, it doesn't cost $3 to see the fucking band then.
Dude, these tickets on the service fees. And that's why I said, I know it's kind of rehashed because I'm sure at some point people have complained about service fees. But when you're driving to the event and to the arena and purchasing it there, and they're not even giving you a ticket, and they're still just like, oh yeah, it's $30 plus $4 extra. For what?
Yeah.
For what?
Yeah. Do you ask
them? Going there?
Did you ask them?
No, I feel so bad for. I've had this talk with my sister. I know that there's inflation and price of increases always technically go up as we go on, but concerts have never been more expensive.
Ugh.
Like if you're not talking, I'm not even talking going to Taylor Swift. I'm talking going to see like the middling act, the middling like big guys at LCA, like not arena, but not pint, and it's like, dude, those things are $150, $200 to start now.
I'm done with them, man. I'm done with them.
I'm probably not. I am too. Almost.
Support your small venues, you know. I know there's a girl that I worked with at Riff. You did too, Julie, who runs Venue 44. What's the name of that place?
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Wyandotte or something.
Maybe
like District 136 or something. Or
something like that. And she's no bullshit. She's a music lover and bringing bands in.
District 78.
I don't know. I could look it up real quick. Let me see.
I think it's District 142, I think.
I think it's District 142. Is it Amy that's running that?
It doesn't say it on their Facebook
or
page.
Julie, I'm sorry, not Amy, Julie.
I'm sure that's what you're talking about. I feel
I think it is too, but let me just, because she's great.
But I feel so bad for kids these days because, honest to God, and
District 142. District 142.
Concerts regularly, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking 30 years ago, like my dad's dad. I'm talking 15 years ago. It's
so infuriating, because I run the risk of pussy old man every time I bitch about this thing. But there was one time in my life I remember seeing Paul McCartney, and I think tickets were $200 for a fucking Beatle.
Yeah,
they were $200 or $300, and it was like, you know what? You're seeing a Beatle, and the tickets are what they are. And this is a one-off. This is an exception to the rule.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like, and I don't even think I paid. I think Drew got tickets for us. It was like, whatever. Took a buddy of mine, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's like, it's a Beatle playing Beatles hits. It was amazing. And it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, but you cannot tell me Sum 41 is worth $300 fucking dollars. Like, get out of here.
No.
Like, no,
they're good. I like some, but like they're not $300. You're right.
No. Rancid is not worth $100. Blink 182 is not a $300 band. Like, bullshit. No. I remember when I was a little kid, and Michael Jackson came through playing the Silverdome on the Thriller tour, and I want to say tickets were
there.
Was she? Yeah. I bet your hot mom's
hot. Apparently,
she is hot.
Nice.
I bet if I remember correctly, tickets for that show were like $30, and to see the Thriller tour, and it was like, this is an outrageous, because tickets then were fucking $10, and it was 3 times as expensive. It was Michael Jackson Thriller, but $30. It was like, okay, this is gonna suck. But this idea of seeing Taylor Swift for $2,000, get the fuck out of here.
God,
the one that's really pissing me off about that is the comedians. Comedians, and it's like, oh, it's $200 to see Tom Segura. In what fucking universe? Oh, Bill Burr is $150 to see. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
No, because to me, like, I get it when Metallica comes to town and they got 15, 18 wheelers in the parking lot and they set up a stage a week ahead of time with lighting rigs and all the equipment. Like, dude, you're one guy with a mic stand and a fucking spotlight. What are we doing?
Yeah. Right.
You don't have 100 fucking stage hands making sure this goes off with pyro. Like, just stop. You should be charging $10 a ticket and be grateful that, oh shit, now 20,000 people can come see me. You're still making a fortune.
Right. What sucks about that is I am still, based on this summer, like going to a massive festival, I am absolutely not over going to live shows, but I will, because I'm not going to spend that money, or they're going to be very, very select ones that I go to because of that. Can I say something real quick, Mike? Yeah. It's not a grievance, but I had a runner up, but I would say it's more of a pet peeve, and I'm just curious what your take on this is.
All right, go ahead. Let me hear it.
So it's very, very almost radio for one, because it basically is just in my family. But my dad, and luckily he's not in the house right now, so I can speak freely without being worried about it.
Without getting grounded.
My dad has taken on a. I at one point I used to get mad that my parents didn't understand technology, and now they've learned it a little bit, and it almost makes me more mad. And I am not against the use of Siri. If you're by yourself, if you're in a situation where we're all sitting around and be like, fuck, when was that World Series? And you know what? Fuck it. Siri, who played in the 48 World Series?
Yeah.
But we'll be like driving around, and my dad will like voice to talk like, what is the radio station for the Indianapolis Colts home team or something, like whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, Dad, just type it into Google. We're all in the car here. Can you just type it in?
Well, is he driving at that point?
No.
Okay, that's pretty shitty.
Bonafide.
And he started doing it like more and more. Like we'll just be driving places like, where is BillO'Reilly.com or something like that. I don't know, whatever. And it's
where is BillO'Reilly.com?
I'm trying to think of what the examples would be, but they're things that I'm like, dude, we're all in the car. Google this so we don't have to hear you talking into your phone.
Yeah.
It's not like a discussion amongst all of us where we're like, fuck, we don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's just ask Siri.
Well, my boss only thinks phones are voice activated. It's so fucking bad. Hey Siri, can you call Garrett GFE on this cell phone? Like he'll say exactly like that every time.
I would say, easiest for this example, would you feel the same way if instead of your dad, it was a hot chick sitting next to you?
Wow, I mean,
or if it was Chubbs sitting next to you, because hot chick, I know you don't care about them.
Yeah,
But if it was Chubbs,
dude, I would say like if it was Chubbs, I'd be like, dude, Chubbs, you have to fucking talk every time. Can't you text these things out?
Okay, then it's bona fide. I mean, it's pussy old man, but it's still bona fide in that. If you would treat everybody the same way, and it's because you run the risk, like there are certain people in my orbit, it's like they can say good morning to me and I'm like, well, fuck yourself. Like there's certain people that just fucking nails on a chalkboard every time they open their mouth. And if you've gotten to that level with your old man, and I wouldn't blame you for that, if that's the case, then it's like, well, it's not quite as bona fide.
I think what's funny is it's in reality, he's learning technology pretty decently, that he's gotten to the point where he can do it. But on the same hand, I think it's very old man in how he does it. Somehow it just seems like one hand good. But anyway, I don't even know.
I think it's he's nails on a chalkboard, irritating you at times. It's this one. Like I
don't do that to him. I'm sure I do. But.
For one, I never put my phone to my ear ever.
Yeah.
I talk on speaker all the time. It's I've got enough things that's going to say cancer to me.
Right.
But I say that. I never do it if anyone else is around, though.
See, that's the thing. That's the difference to me.
I'm in my room. I'm like this all the time. If someone walks into my space, I'll put it up to my ear and say, "I'll call you back." The amount of fucking
by the way,
people,
I talk on my speaker too. If no one's around,
the amount of people that'll do it in a restaurant, you can hear the other person coming through their phone like that. Is like, okay, that person needs to be fucking shot.
Even worse is the people who do FaceTime, but like are holding it up like to their ear like this, but speaker. Like I see them all the fucking. I saw one today. I walked into the back of a car parts factory. I was doing extinguisher work, and there's just a guy sitting there on FaceTime with his phone next to his head, like yelling into it. I'm like, dude, just headset it or something. You're in a loud factory.
Right. Yeah. People, it's ridiculous how people behave. But yeah, the lack of awareness for your surroundings drives me nuts.
I don't think that in this instance, that's what my dad's doing. I think it's just something he does, but I will admit, and the problem is, as you know, Mike, with things, once they get to the point that you are irritated by it,
it's over.
Now it's over, because every time it happens, you're just like, fucking, I will sit there in my head, like, just fucking Google it. Just type it in Google.
No, it's the same way. My dad can butter toast and drive me nuts.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, dude, how do you fucking butter toast that way? Like, what's the matter with you? And so,
I'm so sorry, dude.
No, you're good.
You probably have discussed this. Pardon my maybe asking something that's been talked about, but how are you? Like, you're in a situation right now where you're not on your own anymore, right? You're having to deal with other people in your day to day. Is that going well, mostly?
Yeah, dude. I asked for this, so I'm not someone that's gonna blame others. Like, oh my God, I can't believe woe is me. Like, no, I asked to be put in this situation, but it's very difficult for someone to go, 50 years of living one way and all my adulthood living one way and doing whatever I want, however I want, whenever I want, with whomever I want. Right. And, and seeing how other people do their existence is really difficult.
Yeah.
Because, like I see all the levels of fucking entitlement. I see all the levels of how people raise their kids and how they choose to fucking do whatever. And usually I can just excuse myself from that world and be like, fucking Bill and Susie, holy shit, look at them raising their kids like assholes. And I just walk away and go, whatever, it's Bill and Susie's job.
Yeah.
And so being around other people, you are in their orbit now, and however they do stuff, however they, and all of us as humans have what we do as, for some people, they're militant about when they eat dinner. And for someone like me or you, it's like, I don't know, whenever I get fucking hungry, maybe I have dinner at noon, maybe I have dinner at midnight. So dealing with all of those little things you don't plan for, you don't expect, can kind of drive you nuts.
What I've told people recently is my take on it is, and I don't think it's anything mind-blowing, but I mean, it's like, we all just, in reality, you go through your life and you have like how you think something should get done. And basically, if you find someone that agrees with that, you're like, they know what they're talking about. And if they don't, you're like, this guy's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would he do that? And it's like, because he doesn't do it your fucking way, dude. Because like whatever you do is weird to him. Like,
it's very hard. And I find myself having to check myself a lot, whether I'm around Kristen and Jen or the Warden and G.
Yeah.
And I have to be very conscious of, okay, I'm the uncle and I'm essentially a guest here. And I try my best to respect other people's ways of doing things.
Right.
And not try to be as least judgy about things as you can.
Yeah.
But you hope for that same respect back.
Well, I asked this to Amy recently, because it was my parents and I, we were watching a movie on the TV, and my family, I know a lot of people do this, but my family really can be bad about commenting and this and that.
Oh, God.
And I got to a point where I literally was like, we're watching Twisters, and I just said, we need to just watch the movie. We cannot be sitting here but I had to bite my own tongue, because I'm so used to it amongst my family that after I made this big, grand thing, like, we need it to be done. Just watch the movie and understand that it's a movie.
Yeah.
But then, like, dude, I found myself 10 minutes later going like, and like, no.
Dude, I remember Fellhauer when he first got married to Julie and stuff, and they'd be watching a movie or whatever, and she'd be like, oh my God, isn't it? And he would just pause. And she'd go, what? And he'd be like, no, it was obviously so important what you were saying. So
Fellhauer would do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Total Fellhauer.
That's a very Fellhauer.
I yell at the TV.
My dad does that where we'll be watching a movie. It'd be my mom, my dad, and me. We're sitting there, and I've got my PJs on and my bowl of popcorn.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. They insert movie here.
Right.
And, if my dad does that pause and like, oh, do you guys need the subtitles on? And you're just like, fuck's sakes. And I'm just like, you're taking me right out of their movie. You're taking me right out of their movie. Yeah. And I have to put it into context of like, no, 99% of the movies I watch, I'm alone. There's no one within a fucking mile of me. And I turn it up as loud as I want. If I want subtitles or don't, I can make that decision. I ask no one. I have no one's input on anything.
Which is interesting, by the way, because when you're by yourself watching a movie, you don't sit there and, well, that wouldn't happen. Or
no.
I talk to myself the whole time.
As if that would happen.
I will.
Fuck. No, I don't. I never. You'd be a lunatic if you sit there by yourself going, as if that would happen. No, we don't do that. But we feel the need when there's other people around us. And it's like, oh God, this sucks.
And it's so stupid. It's so, when you think about it, like, it's a and I have to say, like I said, I had to say it to myself, like, dude, it's a movie. We all just need to sit here and understand that we're not watching a documentary or something.
Yeah.
Like, this is a lot. Like, anyway.
Yeah. The amount of people that are like, can we pause it really quick so I can go, I got to go to the bathroom, or I need to do this. And like, those are not things. When it's someone else, it annoys me. When it's me, it's like, well, yeah, I have to go piss really quick.
I do get on them about that. They'll leave for 3 minutes and come back. Well, what happened? I'm like, just can't you get the context? Like, you really, you can't watch for 5 more minutes. If there was something super important, you'll find out. Like, if there was a giant plot twist in the 30 seconds you walked out of the room, believe me, I'd fucking let you know. Yeah. No, you missed a couple corny lines that are furthering whatever we're watching. Don't worry about it. Yeah. It's whatever. It is what it is. All right, let's do some stuff in the news. I thought it was interesting. I'm kind of surprised. Have you followed at all the Daniel Penny case in New York City? He's the subway strangler. Oh no, I thought it was something else.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
that's what they were chanting at him. The subway strangler.
Is this like a serial killer?
No, you would think by the coverage. You would think.
Okay.
No, he's the guy that choked out the guy on the subway. Killed him. He happened to be a 26-year-old white Marine who choked out a man of color.
Gotcha.
And they turned it, of course, into a giant race story.
Yeah. Do you mind refreshing me, just like bullet points? What happened? Was the guy doing something? Why did he choke him out?
So his name was Neely.
Jordan Neely.
Jordan Neely has a long and storied history of schizophrenia, of drug abuse, of violence. He's been arrested dozens of times. He's harassed people on the subway. He was a guy that was a Michael Jackson impersonator at one point, and he would hang out in the subways and do Michael Jackson dances he would busk, essentially, and look for tips. And he has gotten more and more kind of violent and in the system, let's say. He's just kind of...
Especially
he's had some sort of mental break, drug abuse, living on the streets, and all of society ignored him and just kind of let this. And so he ends up getting arrested a couple dozen times just being a nuisance. Well, he had some sort of a break on this one day in the subway, and crime numbers have gone through the roof in New York City. He has a break in there, and you've got a cart full of people on their way to work, whatever.
Right.
Mom with daughter and with 2 children in a fucking stroller having to ride the subway as well. And this guy comes in and starts saying stuff like, I'm going to kill everyone on here. I don't care. I'm done. I'm going to prison for life. I don't fucking care. Ranting and raving.
Say something, Mike.
Yeah. So Daniel Penny, a Marine and a man, ended up holding this guy from behind and took him down in a chokehold, and the guy ended up dying.
Gotcha.
Got drugs in his system. Couple other guys, black guys, by the way, helped hold him down. And he was telling people, call 911, call police. Let's get the police here. But I've got him. Don't worry. The guy ended up dying.
Yeah.
And so they tried in New York to charge him with murder.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is one of those situations that turns into like, oh, shit. Are we really going to do that where
you're really going to actually
charge someone with murder? Well, the Marine.
I mean, I would say in the least, not that it should have happened. Wouldn't it be manslaughter if you really were going to do something? Like it would be murder.
That's what they were trying to charge him with, was second-degree manslaughter.
Okay.
And they ended up.
First, it was murder, and then they switched it to manslaughter because it's an easier charge.
Gotcha.
Right. Well, they were trying to determine whether Penny, the Marine, recklessly caused the death of Neely by using the chokehold or second-degree murder, or if he was guilty of criminally neglect homicide, a lesser charge, still carries a 4-year sentence.
And the response if someone had been killed, other people had been murdered by this dude, just oh well.
Yeah, no, the right response would have been to get your camera out and just film it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
For social media. I think that's what you're supposed to do. If someone's acting like a fool and threatening people, you film it, and see if you can gain some followers from it on TikTok or something.
True.
Think that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know. So the lesser charge required the jury to determine if Penny failed to recognize Neely's life was at risk as he held him in the chokehold. On Friday, the jury indicated it was deadlocked over the manslaughter charge. Judge Maxwell Wiley told the jury to return to deliberations and find a unanimous decision. They again said they couldn't. At that point, the judge and the assistant DA, Daphne Yoren, discussed the possibility of dropping manslaughter and allowing the jury to deliberate on the lesser charge in an effort to find a guilty verdict. When the jury returned to work on Monday, this morning, it took them less than an hour to return a not guilty verdict for the lesser charge of criminal neglect homicide.
Is that something that normally happens in trials? I don't know enough about trials where they already have something and then they say, well, why don't we try this? How about this one for you?
They tried that with, I want to say they did something similar with Kyle Rittenhouse. Garrett, do you remember? Didn't they have him there was a possible second-degree murder, first-degree murder?
They're going to start with second-degree murder, and then they switched it all to third-degree, like it was unplanned, but then he wanted to.
Right.
And eventually drop the manslaughter.
It was something along those lines.
Then self-defense.
I look at this as more of a society thing. What kind of society do you want to live in? Because I don't know if you've ever been around someone having an event, crazy,
right,
going up. If you ever have, and it's not a common occurrence, maybe in New York City, it's more. But those are
not an event. You know what I mean? Just like you talk about being in San Francisco. We've both been in big cities. So you've been around situations where it's uncomfortable, but not like what you're describing.
Right. And you can imagine being in a fucking cart, a subway cart with nowhere to go. I've been in San Francisco.
What you described. Oh my God.
Exactly.
Threatening.
So I've been in a situation in California where I watched a guy take a shit on the sidewalk, and you kind of scoot past him, and you're like, yikes! Oh. You don't know what that person's dealing with. I'm not saying pull out a gun and shoot him, but I have the ability to kind of pick up the pace a little bit and let's turn the corner and get the fuck away from this guy. Seeing a guy with his dick out jacking off in San Francisco, and you're like, that tells me someone that's not dealing with reality very, very well, or is so unhinged that they're not acting with societal norms in a way that makes me comfortable. But I've always been in the position where it's like, yep, time to cross the street, everybody. Let's go across the street. And
it is kind of funny when you think about it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not actually suggesting that they're the same thing, really, but it is kind of funny when you think about the line between hinged and unhinged when it comes to masturbatory practices. I sit in my bed at 1 a.m. before I go to bed and do that. And it's like, okay, he knows, at least he's in his room. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Some guy doing it on the street, all of a sudden now he's a monster.
Well, it's just,
I'm kidding, Mike. I'm just
I know you are. I know you are.
Act. It's just kind of funny.
Totally. Right. You wouldn't take that same act if I was shooting a person versus shooting a tree. I know what you're saying, but it's the context in how you like we all have a social agreement with each other that when I'm driving this way and you're driving at me, we don't swerve into each other and hit each other. It'd be easy to do. The biggest
contract we have is driving.
Right. Yeah. The biggest social contract. Like, oh, we don't swerve into each other's lanes and smash into each other.
Yeah.
You can. It'd be easy to do.
Very easy.
Right.
Is crazy.
Some do it on accident.
Some of the other social norms we have is that we, in public, have some level. We don't just strip our clothes off and start beating off. Like, that's just.
I agree with you.
Right. Like, that doesn't mean you don't get drunk and stupid sometimes. But, for the most part.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah. Right. And, sometimes we need to be, knock it off, you. But there's certain things where. And in this particular situation, what struck me is like you're in a subway, and you've been in New York City subways before. They are dirty,
terrifying.
They're grimy, they're cold. You get in them, and they're underground, and you're cooking along, and there's nowhere to go. You can't open the door and get away. Nope. And if you have someone having an episode, screaming, yelling, like
masturbating,
jacking off. If you have one of those, if you're being honest with yourself, what I'm sitting there thinking is, I hope there's a real man on this fucking subway car to take care of this for me, because I'm a pussy. And you hope at that moment, like, God forbid,
that dude's in here right now, because
you hope Chris Cracchiola's in there at that point, or
I will
Mike
be cowering in the corner here, just hoping it all works out.
Hoping it works out, and I don't have to get involved. Right. That's kind of the thing. It's why is there never a cop when I need one? Well, in that position, it's like, when a guy walks in with a gun and holds up the bank, you're hoping there's a good guy to intervene, because it puts us all in a really awkward position. So in this case, the message it sends to society is, instead of that guy getting a parade and a medal and honored by the city, like, hey, when people were really scared and didn't know what to think, and they've got children with them, and you've got someone having an episode, this guy stepped in where most of us, let's be honest, are probably going to look to avoid as much as we can. And the whole time going, when is the next fucking stop on this subway so I can get off this thing? Right. That's what I'd be thinking. Like, don't make eye contact. You know that move? Like, don't look at him. Don't look at him in the eyes. Hopefully he doesn't. And you've got some lunatic ranting. Thank God, in my opinion, in society, thank God there's a Daniel Penny there that's a little bigger than most. He's a former Marine and knows how to go, okay, this ends now. No. I'm not trying to kill anyone, but you are not going to threaten these people on here that are going about their fucking day, and you're having whatever you're having today. I don't know if you're hopped up on whatever drugs you are, and you're ranting about killing people. You don't care. I'm going to prison for life. Asking people for food. Like, no, dude, you've broken the social contract. And when the city goes, oh yeah, let's charge him with murder. Like Daniel Penny went out that day thinking, first black guy I see, I'm choking to death. Yeah. And it's like, that's not at all what happened. And when you listen to his quote, he said, so in his first police interrogation, during which he was not told that Neely had died. So at this point, all he knows is I grabbed this guy, took him down, and made sure he couldn't hurt anyone until police and paramedics could get there. He went unconscious. Sorry about that, but he explained that Neely had been acting like a lunatic before he jumped him to protect other passengers. Some guy came in and he's like, with his jacket off, he's like, I'm going to kill everybody. I'm going to go to prison forever. I don't care. Penny then tells the detectives, and by the way, multiple people that were in that car said the same thing. So it's not like you're taking this guy's word versus someone who died and can't defend themselves. This is a consistent story from all the members in that car. Penny then tells him, he asked the person next to him, can you hold my phone? And he took his earbuds out before sneaking up behind him and getting him in a chokehold from behind. I just kind of grabbed him from behind because he was acting like a lunatic, like a crazy person. He was rolling around on the floor. And at that point, the train stopped. I was like, someone call the cops. And he's still rolling around, still going crazy. I had two other guys kind of help me just kind of keep him from going nuts. And that's when you guys showed up. Yeah. So, and this guy had, let's see, he was hospitalized more than a dozen times for psychotic episodes. He claimed to hear Tupac Shakur and the devil talking to him.
Good voices. It's always the devil.
Yeah, and you know what? There's something else that I think is worth mentioning, and that is, there are differences in men and women, and there's, I know, right? I know we don't like to acknowledge that nowadays, but inherently, men do protect in a way. Something no woman has ever felt, and you guys probably are a little too young, but I definitely remember when I was probably a junior or senior in high school was when Desert Storm kicked off. And that the draft was a real thought then.
Really?
And
dang, dude, I didn't know that.
I mean,
1991.
Yeah.
1991. And so if you were a male between the ages of 18 and 25, and I remember, periodically throughout my life thinking like, am I old enough yet? Can I still be drafted into some conflict somewhere in the world? Desert Storm's blasting off. Every time a story would come up that would be like, yeah, there's a disrupt in the Middle East and there might need to be intervention. And it's like, well, if that goes sideways, I mean, could they draft me? How old am I now? 27? I didn't know. And it was just something in the back of your head. And let's be clear, I wouldn't want to go to war, but I would have. I would have gone. Like I wouldn't have looked for a way out. I know a lot of people have, but that's just the reality of being a man in this country. It's like, you know what? If push came to shove, and I was at that age, legally they could draft me and force me to go defend my country. And
do you think you would have done that with Vietnam? Like, do you think I think I would have got out of here if I had to. I don't think I would have gone.
Yeah, look, man, a lot of people would have. I like to think that I would have enough honor to go, you know what, my country's calling on me and I'm going to have to go. Now the political unrest at the time, and you're like, this is a bullshit war. Like there's real arguments for that.
Yeah.
But I like to, it was something, and I tell you that story just to say that it was something. When Desert Storm broke off, I remember being a young, stupid kid thinking like, I'm against war, world peace, but it had that door knocked and been like, no, dude, this is something for your country. Like, I knew that was a possibility. And I remember for many years in my life thinking, am I past the age now where like, oh, once I get to this age, they can't draft me.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think men kind of know, like in that situation, as shitty as it is, somebody has to step up when shit's going off. And Daniel Penny did. And I don't want to live in a society where the only people around us are thinking, how do I film this and gain followers on TikTok? How do I make this situation worse by filming it and making shitty comments or try to start a race war over it? It's like, no, it's tragic what happened to Jordan Neely. And I think society failed him on a lot of levels.
For this moment, for sure.
Yeah. And it came down to this, and a man stepped in, and it's like, instead of getting a hero's parade, like, dude, that sucks that you have to live with that. You have to deal with that. But,
because you're saying, because it's for probably most likely it will haunt him. No matter
for
what.
Sure.
Like it's most likely, like he's not someone who wanted to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that. And then it's like, you're right. He would have been. You're right. I would.
Uh-oh. Did I lose you guys?
No, you just Isis, I think. I'm here.
Oh, no.
But he would have been.
Come back.
Oh, there you are. Back it up, Isis. I lost you there for a second.
Sorry about that. Well,
30-second
rewind. I didn't do anything. But but like I think probably 20 years or back in the history of anything 20 years or beyond that, he'd have been a hero. It'd just been like local hero saves the day.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a thought.
It's really troubling to me seeing these things. Like, I am all there, man. Believe me, I'm a nice enough person that injustice sucks wherever it is. When you see injustice and you go, that guy's getting fucked because name the thing, and you go, that's wrong, dude. I'll be the first one to stand up and say something. And you see it. Do we have the Black Lives Matter New York branch video? So this is today, after this verdict came out, and I gave you the background on that story. Here's the take on it. from them.
CHIVONA-NEWSOME. I'm the co-founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York, and I'm a devout Christian. And in my Bible, thou shalt not kill. In the Torah, thou shalt not kill. In Buddhism, not kill a living thing. But America has no morals, no soul. Our bloods have paved the streets of this nation since its inception. It was foolish of us to think that a black man would get justice in the system designed to... My heart bleeds for the Neely family. My heart bleeds for his father, who sat in front of me every single day and prayed for justice for his son.
Where was he praying for
this?
To save black
people. Or was he when he's alive?
We wouldn't live in these ghettos. We wouldn't be in these prisons, and we would be further along than we are. We wouldn't be at the absolute bottom. So forgive me for being jaded and cynical, but once we saw those non-white jurors, we knew that this case was over.
It was the white jurors.
Non-white jurors.
Yeah.
How could there not be an uproar that the same person who got off Kyle Rittenhouse, who got off O.J. Simpson, was used here?
Who got off O.J. Simpson?
O.J. Simpson, yeah. That's
celebrities and politicians
Jenner's
who
back?
claim not to be racist.
All right, good enough. You can...
Loud and
I think you get the point.
What does she mean by the same person that got off O.J. Simpson?
I can believe Rittenhouse, but
Kyle, like, if you keep trying these obvious not guilty cases that never belonged in a courtroom, you're going to keep getting these outcomes, and then you're going to keep getting angry about the wrong things. Like, we all know the story of Jordan Neely. We can all put that into context. It's like we did for a year, Isis, covering Michael Brown. Yeah, and it was like, you're trying to paint a picture of an individual that, while tragic that this happened, this isn't because there were 9 white jurors that Jordan Neely happened. This isn't the 1950s or 40s.
By the way, why were there only 9? What does that mean? Why isn't there always 12? Or why would she say 9 white? Was there 3 black people? She just didn't reference those people? I
don't know. I thought it was 12 too. Are there sometimes 9-member juries?
No, I think it was a 12-member jury. She just didn't want to mention that the black people also voted the clear him.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
because you need a unanimous decision.
There wouldn't have been 9 total juries, right? It's always 12.
I don't know, because I know they do like judge panels where it's just in front of 3 judges. Like, there's weird things. So I don't know if there are cases where you have 9. I think you're right, though. It's 12-person jurors. That's what we usually see. That's even worse. Jordan Neely or Daniel Penny.
Okay.
Daniel Penny. And she mentions Kyle Rittenhouse, who's a douche. By all account, you look at Kyle Rittenhouse, and he kind of strikes me as a douche.
He's just a nerdy autistic kid.
The fact of the matter is, he never killed a black person. In fact, he killed 2 violent child predators.
Yeah, 2 chomos and a wife beater.
A couple pedophiles and a wife beater is who he killed, and he was being violently attacked. At the time that happened, BLM was terrorizing his community, and went there. Like, the facts of that story are very inconvenient for a lot of people. And Kyle Rittenhouse can be kind of a douchebag, like, whatever. But if you're being honest about it, Kyle Rittenhouse is a really bad example. That should have never been. Like, we saw the video. We knew we watched countless videos of what happened that day. And if you find the right case of racial injustice taking place, I'll be the first one there. I'll use this platform to talk about it. I have no problem with that. But the facts around Jordan Neely, like, no, I want Daniel Penny in my community if that trouble finds me that I didn't ask for.
It was a 12-person jury, by the way. I'm trying to figure out, like, if it says anything else.
It?
But it was a 12-person jury, so it says the 7 men and 5 women. Or 7 women. She just didn't want to
mention that there were black people in the jury.
Okay, so there, which I thought was a little.
She said 9. I didn't get it. I was like, 9 white people.
So 9 white people, meaning the other 3 were 12, which would be percentage-wise overrepresentation from the black community, if you're being honest about it. I mean, they make up 17% of the population.
One of those non-whites, and they make up Hispanic or something.
They make up 17% of the population, yet they make up 33% of this jury. Like, okay, well, you've been properly overrepresented.
33% of the population, 50% of the violent crime. according to the FBI.
17% of the population. I know, different argument, but I know what you mean. But in this particular case, it sounds like, and I don't know, I don't know. To me, this is a clear-cut case where you probably are best served to move out of the city in which this took place because of protests. You don't want that bias coming in. You don't want to scare the jurors into thinking, if I make a decision that doesn't agree with this, they're going to burn my fucking neighborhood down. Like, those are real things. And we just used to do that automatically. If there was even the hint of some sort of bias or someone couldn't get a fair trial, you owed it to move it to another county, to move it to another area, to prevent that stuff. You don't want a bunch of people sitting outside the courtroom chanting guilty, guilty, like they were today. You don't want a bunch of people chanting Subway Strangler. Like,
yeah,
holy shit, man.
And also, what does she mean by the same people who got him off? Because I looked up the lawyers and the judges in both cases. They're different people.
Of course.
And the guys in different areas.
The
system, maybe. I mean, Johnny Cochran got OJ off, and you know, for the
longest time. Why do you mention OJ? So are you suggesting OJ? So is she saying that OJ killed those people then? Is that what she's saying in that statement?
I don't know what she's saying, but what she's furthering is the idea that you know, black people are targeted in this country, and this is further proof. And it's like, no, that the problem is you don't have further proof. Just being black does not entitle you to some special privileges and rights. This is a classic case of fuck around, find out. It just is. We all just used to agree on that. But, you know, the media is always going to put a camera in that idiot's face and get her opinions on how, you know, the white devil's doing this to our brothers and sisters, and that's America, and America's forever, whatever she's saying. It's unbelievable. And I can't believe people are still standing on the mantle of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you have yet to explain taking in $90 million in year one of your existence, being $6 million in debt the next year, and nobody has any accountability for where that money went. None. Like, it makes no fucking sense. You've helped nobody except yourselves personally. And, you know, here we sit. It's crazy. But anyways, I bring that story up just because that decision came down today, and I'm glad to see it play out the way it did. I thought it would have been a real problem in this country. It's still already a problem. The fact that New York City charged him, you know, Alvin Bragg, the same guy that had the clown case against Trump, and the price of Letitia James, same fucking people. And you know, it just goes to show they're playing to a mob, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Eric Adams, by the way, is saying that the net is tightening on the guy who shot the CEO, the medical CEO there in New York City. They did catch him.
They caught and identified.
Yeah.
But apparently he's attractive. I've heard.
Oh, very attractive.
Oh, yeah. Actually. I've heard that too.
He's hot as shit.
Yeah.
Is he hotter than the hot felon? Or, I mean, what are we talking about?
He's hotter than the hot felon.
Hotter than hot felon. Chance. What's his name? What was his name? The hot felon?
Oh, my God. I couldn't tell you. I just know him as the hot
Those
felon.
eyes, though. Those eyes.
If you said his name, I bet I...
Oh, yeah, I can't believe... I haven't said his name in a minute. Yeah.
Let me see. I'm sure it will come up.
I bet if you just Google hot felon, it'd pop
exactly.
up. Like, oh, yeah, we all know who you're talking about.
Oh, dude, as soon as I heard this, dude.
What?
As soon as I read it, I knew it. Jeremy Meeks.
Yeah.
Doesn't that ring a bell once you hear it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
There he is.
Yeah, he's way hotter than him.
Yeah, he's not as hot as I remember. It's that mugshot photo. It's all in the mugshot photo.
Yeah. That dude got modeling gigs after.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This one right here.
Yeah, that picture right there, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
The
hot felon.
Hot felon.
Yeah,
well, so they caught the guy.
Yep.
And I knew he was going to get caught. Like they
Ooh, that's him, dang.
That's him. That's the shooter.
Yeah. Just prove they have the resources to solve any murder by catching Luigi Mangione seem to care to deploy when the victim is worth so yeah, that's the way the system works. They only get, well, I guess it sort of does. It's been disturbing, I'll be honest with you, to see how many people are cheering this guy on.
I'm with him.
Yeah, I hear you. What's up?
You are.
I know.
What's that, Isis?
I have mixed feelings. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he should be shot and murdered at all. But I do have mixed feelings on the whole system and how some of this is all going down.
Yeah,
but
I agree. I agree. The healthcare system,
the money they make and the under
CEOs,
the circumstances that they make it.
Look, the entire industry feels corrupt as shit.
I don't think he should be shot and murdered. I don't mean it like that, but
I think we need to be
about the idea of some of it.
Well, let me say this. I think that we still should not cheer on assassinations,
I agree
because
with that.
you just do encourage more of that behavior, and eventually it can get to a place where you vehemently disagree with it.
Absolutely.
And that's why, RFK, JFK, Martin Luther the King, Malcolm X, like those are...
Yeah, but all those people were killed by the government.
Yeah.
This is the first time one of us actually did something.
Right.
Yes. Look,
that's what's funny about
first
that.
off, I don't think this was as professional a hit as people have seen
No.
so many fucking movies.
You think so?
No, it was. Just coming from a gun nerd standpoint, he did a lot of things to that firearm that made it a very coordinated hit. Like to the point where he was loading his own ammo so it would run subsonic with a suppressor and not cycle the gun, so he could actually cycle his own bullets.
Okay, but not professional there were some very big rookie mistakes that he made for getaway, for backpack disposal, sunglass. Shut up, Garrett. Sunglass disposal. Like,
can yell shut up at other people.
Yeah, I can. There are a lot. The amount of people that want to be like, oh yeah, this was a professional hit. If you talk to actual people in that line of work, they're like, yeah, he's making mistakes that a professional hitman wouldn't necessarily make. I think we've seen a lot of fucking movies. I will say this. I don't know this guy's history. Some of the shit looks shady. He's a $10 million a year executive running UnitedHealth, and he's the CEO of that company. Some of the shit looks shady when it's like he cashes out stocks. There's a lot of reasons to have he's cashing out stocks, and then the news breaks 3 days later that they're under investigation and other people's stocks go down while he's already cashed out. That's fine. Litigate that shit in a courtroom, and I understand the playing field is not level, so that's hard. I will say, as someone who is friends with a CEO of a major medical outlet, one of the biggest in the country, I know one of these people. He's as libtard as they come. He's fucking, oh God, we got a trans person on our board. One of those jagoffs.
Yeah. He
is. He's also a really, really, really good human being. Okay.
Yeah.
Been to my house. He's a really good human. If you just put up the title CEO, major healthcare, fuck him. Fuck him. Yeah. They're all like, okay, you're speaking with emotion, but there are people behind these things. My buddy Ben is salt of the earth, good human being, means well. And if you just throw him into the category of healthcare fucking CEO, well, then what? Are we cool killing Ben? No, I wouldn't think that.
The moment that the whole shooting happened with the UHC guy, the first thing that I kept seeing posts of are like people praising Costco CEO, saying like how much like you need to be more like the Arizona CEO. Like, I feel like there comes a point where it's like, no, we want to respect a good CEO. We're not mad that he made the money. It was how he made the money and the people he fucked over getting there.
Yeah. Well, I understand a lot of people want to go eat the rich, fuck them. Well, no. Historically speaking, as far as the world goes, you're all extremely fucking rich. Okay. So eat the rich, you can't define. What does that mean? How many zeros are in your bank account? Yeah. How much money you make a year? What exactly is your level to where we go, fuck him. Who cares? How much is too much? What is the level? I agree with you guys. The system is fucked, and I don't know how you fix it all, but and I'm dealing with it today, okay? With insurance companies and what are they going to cover? I have to switch my insurance come January 1. What does this company cover where this one throws up? There's Nick right there. What is this one going to cover versus that one? I was on the phone with Nick today and yesterday.
He helped me out recently, actually.
Yeah, he's the best.
He texted me today.
He's
out
the
of
best.
nowhere. Just, hey, you changing anything?
So yeah, I understand like having disdain for that. I understand the stories of people that go, my mom got cancer, got really sick, and was financially ruined, and these people don't give a shit. I get all that, but there's a better way to handle these things than going, yeah, I know everything, right? Because that's what this generation has done. I already know everything. I already know everything about someone. I already know the whole story when they don't. And we make irrational decisions based on emotion. We're not a banana republic. We're not a third world. Hopefully we're not, but I understand the emotion behind that. You know, I have friends that are posting stuff. I have similar friends that were posting about how awesome it was that someone tried to shoot Donald Trump. Right. Do you have any fucking idea how catastrophic that would have been for this country? Do you have any, can you even fathom, can you even grasp the concept of how fucked this country would be right now had that guy been an inch further into Trump's head?
Well, some of those people, you gotta remember, they don't care about that. Though.
No, that Trump's situation was a lot differently because that would have been one that divided us. This is kind of one of those weird ones where after it came out, it's the first time my lefty friends and my very conservative friends have been in the same rooms having a great conversation and agreeing on stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't want Jason Bourne's wannabes running around taking out what they deem is the problem. I don't know how you fix this. I don't. I don't know what the answer is to fix the ills of society, but this idea of murdering people in cold blood, like, no, I don't like it when they're, JFK, RFK, like any of these things, whether it's the CIA or it's rogue actors, like, I don't know. And maybe we find out way worse stuff about Brian in this situation. I'm not willing to pass ultimate judgment on people without their day in court. That's just me,
But how long is it that these guys never get a day in court? They just pay it off.
No,
they have lawyers out the ass. You're never going to fight them. And me and everybody I know in my entire life could pool all our money together to try and fight like UnitedHealthcare over a claim. It's never going to work.
Yeah, I understand it.
Eventually somebody's going to get pissed off and do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where I think,
Garrett, I understand the argument. I get it. And you're not wrong. Yeah. Those people aren't wrong. I understand the emotion behind it. But what kind of society do you want to live in? It would be my question of like.
I would like to live in a society maybe where CEOs don't make an insanely amount of high percentage versus the regular workers. That's what society I might want to live in.
Every once in a while, I feel like it shouldn't be a normal thing to just assassinate every fucking CEO ever. But every once in a while, you get one that goes unchecked. Just call that one so that the rest kind of stay in line. It's like Twitter getting bought. It's like as soon as Twitter got bought, Facebook had to readjust.
Yeah. Well, in a perfect world, not to make this political, but the election went the way it did, and the people that Trump is putting in charge, the Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy's, the Pete Hegseth to a lesser extent, these are meant to disrupt a corrupt system. Kash Patel is the biggest fucking win, in my opinion. I've been watching Kash Patel. If he gets confirmed as director of the FBI, he's day one. Claims, we'll see what they do. Claims he's going to release the 7 pages remaining on the 9/11 files that he says are going to piss everyone off. He's already seen them.
Good.
He's going to release all the fucking JFK files.
What is the theory of the 7 pages? What it will reveal?
I don't know.
Is it inside job shit or what?
Yeah. Maybe. Do you have the video? Do you have the video there, Garrett, of him talking about it?
And I think it's more the fact that they've just been hidden for so long. It's like, what are you hiding at this point? Like, how can you be hiding it for 50, 60 years on JFK?
This guy I've been watching talk about this. Now, he used to be on the defense team involved in these 3-letter agencies. He's been on the prosecution. He knows the inside and out. He knows where the bodies are buried. And he's claiming they're corrupt as shit. So if you really do want maybe the chance possibly in a perfect world to get some sort of accountability for CEOs run amok in this country, living on corruption, this is the only hope you've got is because believe me, if the system can keep playing the way it's playing, that's the way it'll do it.
And by the way, I should be clear, like even with CEOs, like I by no means would ever suggest that they shouldn't make a lot of money or more, obviously, than like the McDonald's CEO should not just make, I'm right
$25 an hour
above, dollar above the regular dude. I don't mean it like that, but
no, it used to be
insane.
It's think of it like the concert ticket conversation we were having earlier.
It is that,
right? It used to be they made 4 times what the average worker made. You know, and it was like, hey,
50 times.
This guy makes 25 grand and the CEO makes 100 grand or 200 grand. It's like, okay, they didn't make $200 million. They do a horrible job and get $100 million golden parachute.
And that's the other thing, by the way. The funny thing to me is sometimes when we there's this thought that like, because I've told that to people recently, like I'm never going to say I don't respect someone that's higher up on a chain than me, but I don't ever anymore just give someone respect just because they are.
Yeah,
and that's it. Like they're a CEO.
That's a good start.
You know what I mean? Like, so they're a CEO. So obviously that means they just deserve their respect. That's not fucking true. You don't know how that fucking person got there.
It's very hard because you've been ingrained our whole lives to respect authority on a level like, oh, he's a lawyer. Oh, he's a doctor. Wow. Dude, when you get into like party situations with doctors, lawyers, they're as fucking bonkers as all of us. They just are. They're not, you know, they excelled in this. They put in the work of the time, but that doesn't mean you give them all, you know, like, oh, wow, we need to bow to this doc. Dude, you know how many fucking absolute moron doctors I've met? Morons. Like where I go, holy shit, I was never paying attention before, but I have been kind of paying attention to this. And what you're saying right now is almost retarded.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad you are. Some of the COVID shit that came out of my doctor's mouth at the time where it was like, do you even hear yourself? Is the CEI giving you fucking talking points right now? What are you doing? What the fuck are you saying? So no, I think a lot of us have woken up to that. But listen to Cash here.
I never believed that the CIA killed Kennedy.
No. You're talking to a guy that's read the entire JFK file.
You've seen all the secret stuff?
I've seen all of that, and I've seen the 7 pages of the 9/11 report. I've seen it all.
You don't say that to people that you can't tell what you saw. Should the Kennedy stuff be released?
Yes.
Is there anything there that is like, is anybody alive?
The problem is, the things that we can't release have nothing to do with the questions you guys are asking.
Then release.
That's about as far as I can go on it. But like the answers you guys want, you pretty much have them. There's very minimal stuff that can't be seen for things that you wouldn't even think are related to that.
Why can't we release them?
And you're thinking temporally, like, did it stop back then? Right? You know, the way intelligence works is you're always developing it. Where did I get that? Where did that go? Oh, hey, I found that guy 5 years ago. Let's go talk to him. Where does that get us? You know, it's a little bit bigger of a jigsaw puzzle. I mean, it's the same. Look, so the 7 pages of the 9/11 report, yes, overnight, that needs to come out. I'm telling you, that's got to go. And there will be some people that are pissed off.
God, I wonder what that means. Oh.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think it's true that you used to have a society that the argument was, well, if they knew what we knew, you'd have mass panic in the streets, right?
Yeah.
If we told them what we found an alien craft and there's possibly like it might lead to mass hysteria in the streets. Society was way different. I believe in the people, the citizens, that they can handle shit. Like, tell me straight up what's going on. And we'll
that too. Yeah.
We'll deal with
it. Their job to fucking on some. I get it. To an extent. There's of course times for secrecy, but some of this stuff, why is it their job to fucking tell us what we can handle or not?
Yeah.
If it's not
some of these people are still alive. Well, I don't give a shit.
Well, they fucked up. If it's needed, like you're going into battle, we're going into a war, and you don't want. Yeah, I get it. But if it's not needed for actual security, if the worry is just the people will lose their mind, then let's fucking see. Fuck that.
I think I can't remember the number, but I want to say there's over 1 billion like classified documents. Like where I had lunch one day is classified. Why? Because if you know my route, maybe you could show up and assassinate me. Like, no, that's not how classified's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Like it's so out of control. And my hope is someone like Kash Patel comes in and goes, yeah, all you people that think this thing is fucked and out of control with power and greed and cheating, it's true. And I'm going to get in here and prove it to you. And I'm going to show you. And we're going to start holding some fucking clowns accountable. So when you see all these politicians bitching about they're coming after political people, they're coming after the no.
Well, no one's going to bitch more than political people.
Right.
That people are coming after. Heaven forbid.
What they mean, though, is they're coming after us elites who have been running roughshod over the whole fucking system the whole time. They're not coming after you for something you said on Twitter.
No,
so
that's not what it is.
They're coming after the bureaucrats and the bullshit. That's the hope, anyways. It's the way I said it the other day, Isis, is this is the closest you're ever going to get to this country for revolution without violence.
Yep.
Yeah.
Historically, revolutions have happened forever through every society, but they always come with blood in the streets. This is the closest you're ever going to get. And I hope it works out that way. I really do.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to tell you, like, boy, missed the boat on that one. Didn't see it coming. They all were just there to line their own pockets. I hope I'm not saying that one day, but it is what it is.
For sure.
It is what it is. All right, buddy. Thank you so much for being on here, Isis.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let's do it again. Now that we're through the election, I know we got a little political there, but
it's not the worst thing in the world. I just, you already know the deal. It's
dude,
all good.
I totally do.
There's a reason you knew what you were doing and you were smart to do it. So
yeah. All right. Should we do a quick email and get out of here? Sure. Walters at DetroitCast.com. So I was talking about the VA, the reports coming out, and where was that in Tennessee? The VA in Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a big orgy.
There was like a 12-person orgy, and I do want to correct when I'm wrong. It turns out it was a 15-person orgy.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it wasn't 12.
How many men and women are we talking here? Do you know?
I don't know the details. They haven't released them. Maybe Kash Patel will release.
When does an orgy turn into a gangbang? You know what I mean?
Depends on how many people are on one person.
Gangbang is like 10 on 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
An orgy is like more of a mixed company situation.
Yeah. I think a bukkake is one person getting just fucking dusted by a group of people. Gangbang is multiple on one.
Yeah.
Multiple on one. And then an orgy is just what's that?
So if you just had 2, I think there's to be a rate. Like if you say multiple on one, so 10 to 1, that's an orgy. That's a gangbang.
I think a gangbang is 2 to 1. 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Maybe you need a third.
But if it's 12 to 2, is that still a gangbang or an orgy?
It's the ratio of who's getting banged to who's banging. And I think the ratio usually cuts off about 80-20. No,
okay.
20.
Really? No, that's just an orgy. Like, how do you
No, an orgy is kind of more like everybody's kind of swapping around. And
10 guys and 2 girls.
That'd be a gangbang.
That's an orgy.
Well, the guys aren't banging each other.
You don't know that.
They might. If the guys are banging each other, then that's an orgy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's 10 guys, they're 2 girls, and if they're just banging the girl, that's a gangbang. I think if you go 6 guys and 4 girls, that's an orgy no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a ratio. That's orgy.
Yeah. 7 to 3 would be tough though. If they're not banging the dudes.
And within that orgy, you can have a gangbang. You can have like a group of guys who are on one girl, and that could be the gangbang in the bigger orgy.
A sub orgy, if you will.
Yeah, like a sub orgy, if you will.
Yeah, I'll have to do more research to get the there's probably a very.
I'm gonna do some research tonight for sure.
Yeah. So if you're doing it, so you wouldn't consider a devil's triangle an orgy or a gangbang.
No,
that'd be more of
that's
a gangbang.
just 2 on 1. It's a tag team.
Yeah, it's a threesome, I guess. Yeah.
Threesome.
I'll get a deep dive into this for the next time I'm on.
I would appreciate that if you do some extensive research. What did we call it before when we had you on Thursdays? Do your
Big E history.
God, dude.
The what?
Yeah,
the Big E history.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big E or whatever. If you want to do one on the breakdown between a bukkake, gangbang, an orgy versus a simple threesome or something.
I'll do a lot of research if I have to. Visual aids will definitely be
visual aids are huge.
Huge. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, if you've got a pointer or graphs, anything.
I got one.
So anyways, this is in reference to that VA hero, because I called There was one guy that the report came out that he banged 32 coworkers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was like, you got to put a plaque of that guy on the wall, right?
So you're talking about a dude, obviously, I'm assuming,
yeah,
who banged 32 coworkers.
Crushing it, yeah.
What, I got to be honest, man, and maybe I'm envious, for one, very envious of the game. I don't, how... Because you know how a workplace can be. And I know that I'm not stupid. More often than not, people are having relations within a work setting.
But 32?
But to get to have that many and jealousy issues at some point and what he's in the Olympics,
crazy.
For sure. There was an Olympics of
they were acting like this is a bad thing and we need to, curb this behavior. And I was like, well,
it wasn't on company grounds.
Can you please put a fucking plaque with the guy's picture?
Well, if
on the
I was
wall?
working there as a
impressive.
guy, I mean, as a guy, I would say it's a bad thing because I would assume that now I'm not able to get these girls somehow. Yeah, I'm not invited or something. I can't get some of these second,
Yeah, but don't hate the player though. Hate the game.
I will hate the player in this. And the only time I hate the player is when it comes to guys that are getting more action than me.
But that's all guys. That's all guys.
And in that sense, I hate the player.
But don't you have some respect for Hall of Fame stats? 32 in one work location?
I'm very jealous.
Dude, I was trying to, in my head, I think I got to 3, maybe 4 in one workplace where it was like, I think through time I chipped off 3 or 4 of them.
How weird does it become at certain point? Like you're walking down the hall and
it's not good.
Would you recommend it, Mike? In reality,
we actually,
man, I'm sent on
there
0.
was a time when me and Troy and Derek worked at a bar and had to have a special meeting where the manager begged us to stop banging the waitress because they kept quitting. They get jealous and they quit. And had a meeting with us like, guys, please, I'm begging you. I know you're all consenting adults, but please, can you stop fucking the new waitresses whenever they come in?
Yeah.
And so it was like, it became a thing.
A problem.
Yeah, it became a thing.
These days. Yeah.
So it's not lost on me, but putting up numbers like that, dude, that's Barry Bonds home run type numbers. 32 in one work location.
Is he using steroids? So that's the question. Because I can only vote for him if he's not using it. He's got to be doing it naturally. If he's doing steroids, I can't be voting for him in.
What if 30 of those girls were natural and then 2 of them were Viagra'd up? Like, who cares? Right. Bonds' numbers were very Hall of Fame and consistent without roids.
But yeah, that's the thing. So, but if you're talking, for example, Bill Cosby, he's never going into me. He wasn't playing fair.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
a different level. We're bragging about it, so he wasn't cheating.
Yeah,
I think he's okay on the roids.
In fairness to Bill, he did tell people what he was doing. I mean, he was on fucking late night TV bragging about. He put it in specials talking about.
That's true. Blah. Well, the best way to hide stuff is right in plain sight, right?
Yeah, great point. So, anyways, now you have context of where this emailer's coming from, and he's a guy. I think he's a big fan of yours. It's Connor, actually.
Jesus! Write this in the last 5 minutes.
No,
No,
I'm sure I'll get another email later today about today's episode, and I have a feeling it'll have a different bend to it. But we'll see.
Refresh your page.
So I have had to deal with the VA for professional reasons. I'm not a vet, and we'll spare you the boring details. I'm pretty sure there is a mandate that you have to be at least 200 pounds before they'll hire you. I have never spoken with a Shaniqua or a Chantel that isn't elbows deep in a bag of potato chips. Oh, yeah. My guess is the hero that bagged 32 of those queens is a 6'2" man weighing about $110 named Jamal. I don't know if I'd go 100%. That far. Let's just say if he played in the NFL, he'd be a safety. My man is blowing through big girls at a steady pace. He stands next to these women.
Steady pace.
He stands next to these women, and it looks like the number 10. I just
like that phrasing, a steady pace.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that's kind of a clip. I mean, unless you're talking about a 30-year career where
I'd like to know, do we know at all how, what the time frame this was?
No, we don't know intimate details.
Over the span of 30-year career, I think they said.
Okay.
So that's not just he's not just on a heater. I mean, that's over his career.
Yeah, he's on a heater, but it's a different level.
No, but he didn't just have a hot summer where there was, he nailed 10 in one summer. I mean, if he just consistently over the years.
Look, there are so many questions. He knows he's outed now.
How many children are out there?
I think it's incumbent on him to come out and be like, here's a picture of all 32 guys. Make your own judgments. Because I expect there's a couple twos mixed in. That's fine. That's fair. You know, especially if he's on a bit of a cold streak lately and he throws in a couple twos and threes. But you got to think there's a couple sevens, maybe even an 8 eking in there. I don't know.
A few singles and doubles there, right? They weren't all home runs.
Right. You know, it couldn't have been all just errors getting through the infield. What Connor is claiming is that they were all fucking errors on the infield. They were all just worm burners that got through. And it's like, I bet he had some solid strokes, got some solid hits.
For sure.
I can't say for
In
sure.
His defense, the images of should be from the time of action. They shouldn't be, today.
Yeah,
right. Everyone
in fairness to the man. Yes.
I'm glad we know these details, about the 15-person orgy and the guy that's crushing 32 in career at the same office. I'm glad we know that, but I think it's tragic that we don't have all the intimate details. I wish we did. I wish we had some photos, maybe a video or two, something, at least a whistleblower.
But I've seen some videos on the internet that have that claim to be people having relations on the job. I mean, these could be from that. I don't know, but
I mean, I don't know. I'd like more information for sure. I mean, even a whistleblower coming out and being like, guys, the 32 are 32 you wouldn't fucking look twice at, something.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if it was like, he's batting 50-50, sometimes we went, wow, that's impressive. You got her. Wow.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to know some details. Maybe we will. So far, the House report just has the detail.
Is anything what's the deal going on with the whole story? Like, is he getting what happened? He just get fired?
Oh, they're doing this stuff like, we've
it's not illegal.
Most of those people have moved on now, and if
but it's not illegal. Like, he could come out and say, "Hey, here's
I would hope
I
so."
banged, right? Like,
I would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's not like he got them to sign, NDAs, and I wouldn't think, but maybe, I don't know. I mean, we need more details.
You know what's funny is when I was driving back home, and I know this is such a fanboy, almost weird thing to say, but me and Chubbs were driving back home from a NASCAR race, and we'd gone through a lot of it. We listened to music, listened to this and that, and we were just 10-hour drive. We're just looking for different shit. And randomly we like, is that fucking Drew and Mike best of out there on the interweb, or whatever? And we pulled up and we listened to one of the best ofs, and it had the how to do a lot of bitches without getting caught. And then that's what I'm thinking
without
about.
Getting sued.
Without getting sued. Yeah. Without getting sued. Yeah.
Is that the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. But it just makes when you talk about the NDAs or something, it literally just how to do a bunch of bitches without getting sued.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's one of the best.
Yeah.
All right. Let's call it there. We almost gone 2 hours with you. This is too easy to do.
I apologize.
No, this is great. People will love it. It's good to see you, buddy. Maybe we do another one next week or something.
Sounds good.
I don't know. What is your story, by the way? Are you going back up north? I know you're doing...
I am going back to the Mackinac Island next summer. One more year.
Okay.
I got some stuff. Year.
What's up?
What's that?
I'm trying to make the pilgrimage up there.
You should.
I really want to
show you the horses and everything.
I'll
go up there one more year, and then there's stuff after that. I got some ideas of another venture and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to go
your show too.
Yeah, I am taking a weird deal where I'm taking a break in the winter where I'm doing Patreon episodes every other week, but not
smart.
But everyone can still go back on Spotify if you didn't realize I was doing it, or if you want to check it out. The Venturecast on Spotify. I have episodes all summer long. They're green. If you cared all about Mackinac and you didn't realize I was doing it, just talking about my experience up there on the island.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I got to learn to actually drive horses. This year, I legit took the horses downtown one time.
Right on.
Me, not the dude that trained me or anything. I was downtown Mackinac Island. Fucking driving 2 horses. Crazy.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, Venturecast on Spotify.
Venturecast.
Yep.
Okay. And on Patreon. Patreon.com/
Venturecast. Yep.
Venturecast. Yeah, he's going on a venture.
Going on a venture. Saving up for another venture.
So. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Thank you, Garrett.